Hi there, and welcome back to some more chaos, which is not welcoming, I suppose, of greetings that one can utter, but it is what it is. Archeon is back at where he started, and back to his old schemes, I suppose, of collecting all the various items that he needs to begin the end times proper. And, well, we shall see how that goes for him. Be the best. Interesting, but not too interesting. Alright, now that is a cool mark of chaos. I did say I was going to start explaining myself slightly as to the how and why of I've never been up here and yet I've played as Chaos. Well, I've pretty much I think I did 2 or 3 Chaos campaigns. I think 2. This is the third one, yeah. I did 2 Chaos campaigns, this is the third one. The first one was when I got the DLC ages ago, and it wasn't all that interesting, but to me it was especially disappointing because I was very much hoping for a campaign in which I could take over the endgame crisis, that is the Chaos Invasion, and essentially maybe not fight with those armies, but relatively easily make those armies and fight with them. Right, that's what I was hoping for. What I got in reality was a little bit different and a little bit disappointing, to say the absolute least. So, Payne got to Bretonia, I think, through the Empire, and I ended the campaign there. I also got to the point where I forget the name, but it's like it's an enemy hero. Well, it's a new faction that spawns in, kind of like second Chaos Army, second Chaos Horde, right? I can't for the life of me remember right now the name of that faction, but or of that lord that spawns. We will see him here, unless they've completely changed everything, which I doubt they have. But anyways, we will see it. How do I beat so many Chaos Knights? Like, the balance of power is heavily in my favour, but Chaos Knights are truly, truly awesome, and I do not believe that. Plus, I think this guy has some serious magic. And I was also hoping for some unique quirks to the Warriors of Chaos, like recruitment being different, or I don't know, maybe if you get defeated, you get to spawn back in immediately, which would because Archeon is like inevitable. This is the inevitable end. Spawns back in immediately because he'd care if it's been centuries or mere moments, because time works differently.
This fool dares challenge me. He thinks I care about his trivial lust for power. I will teach him a bitter lesson. One for all who defy him, who dare to oppose the will of the Chaos Gods. Here is a maggot to make an example of. It will be a warning to all the chieftains of the North. Now, my foes, let us attend this tiresomeness. By dusk, I wish to be swilling the maggot's blood in his
Sure, whatever you say. Let's line up basically like we always do with this army. And put the shock cavalry on the flanks. These will be very effective at the beginning of the battle, but later down the line they won't be effective as much, so I'll pause the story for a moment, if that's the proper way of saying it, and I will continue it after I've defeated this army, or after, you know, if I get a chance, like in between some of the fighting, I suppose. Let's try and provoke him like this. Alright, well, the battle begins. It appears we are of similar minds as to how this warfare should be conducted. And they have gone for a very similar tactic. Now the problem is over here. These Chaos Knights need to die as quickly as physically possible. But there is precious little I can do about that. At least right now. So let's just cast some spells, try and kill him, because that will provide some serious problems to his army. Will provide his army with some serious problems. And we are actually breaking most of his forces already and not taking a lot of damage. Matter of fact, we've broken one. We've decimated the Forsaken. Wow. I've completely decimated the Forsaken. Now, they're one of the coolest looking units in the game, I dare say, or in the Chaos roster, but they are nowhere near the most effective. I need some melee defense on him. Bonus to leadership will help brilliantly enough. From them, the Chaos Knights have decided to flank me, which is not very good, especially because most of my center is tied up right now, and they will have quite some issues when it comes to dealing with the enemy if we do get completely surrounded. But we have Archeon. He can, you know, cast a few spells. Essentially, I need to win one of the flanks. And quickly. In order to be able to even, you know, even fight back against these chaos charges. Now, the good thing is the AI doesn't know how to do hammer and anvil tactics. And for those of you less versed in medieval warfare, or perhaps the terminology of it. Hammer and Anvil is essentially a cavalry attack tactic whereby the cavalry charges back and forth into the same enemy unit or the same enemy formation. So the idea behind it is cavalry is most effective when first charging into the battle with their lances. So you want to have that effect multiple times in the course of the engagement, or preferably in the course of the entire battle. So what you do is you have the cavalry charge in and then back off. Preferably you keep the enemy busy with some form of either skirmisher or melee fighters, infantry, and then under the cover of that your cavalry charges in again, and you repeat until the enemy is defeated. Now this works really well, both, well, IRL cavalry is complicated and different, and the embarrassing truth is we're not exactly sure how cavalry was used in the ancient world, and even in the medieval world, exactly how they fought on the battlefield, how long they stayed engaged with enemy melee troops, for example. We don't know a lot of these things, but what we do know is that there is something behind this cavalry charge, and there is an element of realism to it. Though, that said, cavalry isn't as effective as you might think, or as video games might lead you to believe. But either way, essentially it is by far the most effective way to utilize cavalry in any video game that has cavalry, more or less. There's a few exceptions to this, but generally if you can have the cavalry charge in and out and have it fight that way, then that is the most effective way to use it in basically any video game. Again, some exceptions, but effectively that's it. Good. So, I have one Marauder Horseman unit chasing down 3 enemy units. That is somewhat interesting. Can't believe I've actually won in the center already, and that it's this flank that's falling apart, and my Chaos Warriors as well, or Chaos Horsemen as well. To me that's a little bit weird. But they have absolutely insane leadership and will continue to fight through thick and thin. Essentially forever. Now I'm really hoping Archeon can kill this dragon here. Mind you, he is being engaged by the Chaos Knights too. Let's try and help get rid of those knights. Okay, maybe not. This is by no means a one battle yet. Matter of fact, it is quite a ways away from a one battle. But we're not doing badly either. Oh, and he did just kill the dragon. Alright, that ought to get the armies to break. But every time I do a great thing, they then break like a few of my units, and it just gets oh so annoying. Plus, Chaos Chosen and Warriors aren't the fastest units in the game, unfortunately. And once you break an enemy, you really need to continue chasing them down if you intend on defeating them. But I think the enemy will crumble fairly quickly here. Yeah, there we go. We're done. We are indeed done. A Pyrrhic victory, apparently. But I do not believe in such a thing when you don't lose any units and you defeat the entire enemy army. Actually, you defeat 2 entire enemy armies, so there you go. Now I can finally get back to the story I started out with and have a whole, circular thing going on. I never went up here because I'd finished the first quest, and at that point I was really getting bored of and disappointed, back then obviously, with the entire faction, and I just wanted to sow chaos, quite literally the mechanic and, proverbially chaos in the Empire and sort of the world in general. And if you want to know how long ago this was, Warhammer 2 wasn't out yet, so yeah, the game's the dwarves or the orcs, and I did rinse it to though I do think the Empire, I think that when they confederate in some of the surrounding settlements, then it will be almost physically impossible, I think. Oh, I did lose 2 units. That's a shame. Oh well. Well, I do have the Swords of Chaos Regiment of Renown. I could recruit them. I also have Mirror Guard, which are quite interesting. Yeah, alright, I guess I'll grab those and straight up another unit of Chosen. Yeah. Oh, and I do need... So yeah, it's just the Crown of Domination left. We'll get Diviner. I mean, it's not that useful for Archeon, but these will be... I mean, these sort of just fit, like Lord of the End Times, Chosen of the Gods, etc. More for lore and roleplay reasons than actually, helping with the battles and all that, but hey. So, we just need to defeat these guys then. 1, 2, 3, 4 Hell Cannons. I actually think this battle's going to be slightly easier than the last one. Mostly due to the fact that the giant isn't that good, and it's not that useful. Chaos Warriors are easy. Forsaken, I've completely melted previously, and I can take out the Hell Cannons with cavalry. Obviously, they will have reinforcements that I don't know about, but even then, I'm pretty confident. The second campaign was not with Archeon. It was with It wasn't with Sigvald the Magnificent, it was with the other one, the Beastman character. And I pretty much didn't focus on any of the quests and just went raiding down south, essentially. And it went alright as a campaign, but it wasn't too great. I think I stopped somewhere around there. And I think at that point I sort of stopped playing Warhammer 2 in general and went back to Warhammer in general, and went back to Rome 2 Total War or something along those lines. It might have actually been Medieval 2 Total War as well, I don't remember. One of the older ones, at any rate. And, yeah. That's pretty much it. I've never gotten the crown of domination, so I'm looking forward to that next time. Thank you very much for watching. Have fun, take care, and bye-bye.